The awareness of the good, which guides all our actions, has the character of opinion. It is no longer question, but on reflection it proves to be questionable. So he says, okay, you can ask 100 people what their opinions are about the good. But that doesn't matter. It's just an opinion. And an opinion about the good, an opinion about ethics, can be replaced by genuine knowledge about the good. That was Leo Strauss' position in hard words. And the most important point, he said, all action is aimed at either preservation or change. Well, that makes a lot of sense, because if you do something, if you are politically active, you always do it because you want to preserve an existing state of affairs, because you think that that existing state of affairs is good, or at least you think that a new state of affairs will be worse than that. Yes, so when you want to preserve an existing state of affairs, when you are politically active for an existing state of affairs, you do that because you think that that existing state of affairs is preferable to an alternative existing state of affairs. Or, when you want to change something, you think that the new situation will be better and more worth fighting for. So that all implies thought of the good. Because how else can you want to make an improvement for the better if you don't know what better is? So you need some sort of thought about the good. Strauss made with this a perfect argument where he explains that political action always requires certain thought of the good. Because how else do you know what to improve, yes? So when Popper says, you must not have an ideal, but you must strive towards improvement in the here and now, well, I ask the question, then how do you know which way to go, yes? How do you know which way to improve? How do you know to improve what? Without a utopia, yes? Even though utopias are dangerous, well, you still need them, because how else do you know in which way to go? Yes? How else? You need somewhere, because how else can you even make one single step from the 0 point where you begin, pretty much? In order to make just one step, you need at least to know which way to go. So, how do you know without a utopia, or at least without an ideal, if an interference of that social engineer will be a change for the better, or if it will be a change for the worst? How do you know that if you don't have an ideal that designates where to go? You don't, really. So, for example, we can say, okay, what's the opinion of people? It's the opinion of people, okay, they want more goods. They want to have more purchasing power, and they want to have more shops. They want to have bigger malls. They want to have bigger markets. Okay. Then the utopian engineer can draw a plan where he builds a bigger market. But, I mean, the social engineer can then build up another shop somewhere, or a bigger mall. But the problem is that even good, right? Is that even good to have even more consumption? Or do we need to prefer people not to consume so much and to consume less? Wouldn't it be better to have less consumption instead? Yes? So, how do you know if it's even good to build another bigger market? Because you might as well say, well, people must also learn to do with a little less. And, well, I once came across a girl, it's not one girl, but in the history lessons, I asked her, well, are you going to, do you believe that you will pass the final exams? So pretty much if she would graduate from the school. And she said, no, I don't think I'm going to graduate, she said. But I really don't worry about it, because my parents are going to buy me a new scooter worth 1,400 euros. And I said, okay, but I thought for myself, well, her parents just buy her whatever she wants and buy her a new expensive scooter, even though she doesn't have any decent results at school, so is it even good to buy even more things? Like, if you think about it, so many natural resources are used to bring more products. We need to be a little bit more concerned with what we're consuming, what we're producing all, because the economy is finite, yes? So a utopian engineer can say, okay, we can build more malls, but we can also look at other side and say, well, is it even better to build more malls? So, is it even an improvement? Is it even an improvement to build bigger malls? The same could be said for traffic. A social engineer can design new roads, more advanced roads, bigger roads, but faster cars. He can design all of that. But is that really the way to go? Should we really want more traffic, or should we challenge people to work at home so that they don't have to use traffic? Which way should we go, right? So you need an idea of the good in order to have an idea of what to do in the here and now. Yeah. So this whole idea of being an engineer who simply does a little bit of improvement without worrying about ideals or without worrying about ethics, it pretty much proves out that it's impossible. Yes. But of course, to an extent, Popper saw this too. Yes. Popper said this to an extent. And he merely points out that these overly radical ideas, like Hitler and Stalin, how they killed millions of people in the name of some utopia, how that was so very dangerous for mankind. But as a result, he turned himself towards pretty much every form of idealism, as long as it was in the distant future. And Popper says, I believe, he said, that an idea in the future can never justify an act in the here and now. So he said that we only have to reserve to acting in the here and now. That's what Popper said. Because he said man is fallible. Yes, we are fallible, so we cannot foresee the consequences of our actions. So we cannot foresee if the measures we take to bring closer to that ideal, in the end, bring us closer to that ideal, or if they do not bring us closer to it at all. He says we don't know that, because we are fallible. Okay. Well, these politicians and these social engineers, these architect officials, they wield a certain protocol. A protocol is pretty much rules and regulations. So it says what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, and it tells everyone what to do. So it's a procedure that tells people what to do. That's a protocol. For example, laws is a protocol, but also a job description. That's all protocol. And it defines the tasks of people, and it tells them what to do. And it's how all officials work. So in the beginning, this protocol, according to which everyone works and everyone performs his job, that protocol was made towards a certain goal. Yes, the person who created the protocol had his eye towards a certain goal, because they thought that that goal would make the world a better place. So we see the protocol was designed as a means towards a goal. The goal was a goal to make the world better, and the means towards that goal was the protocol. And if everyone works according to the protocol, then the protocol would make the world a better place. Well, not the protocol, but the people working according to the protocol would, by working for this protocol, make the world a better place, because this better place was the goal for which the protocol was intended. But, if you may not have an ideal, if you may not have an utopia in the distant future, then how can you even begin the plan? How can you know which way to go? The answer is that you really can't. You can simply do something randomly. But there's no good way to begin. So you're pretty much stuck at this. You're going around in circles. And this is a great insight. And this explains nihilism. Because what do these officials, politicians, these top managers, what are they doing? As an answer, they are trying to derive goals from the protocol itself. So they are trying to distillate goals from the protocol. Even though this was not what the protocol was designed to do. The protocol was designed in the service of a goal, of a certain of an ideal. But now because they don't want to be utopian, now they are trying to derive goals from the protocol itself. Which is impossible, because the protocol is a means to a goal. It's absurd, but they need to do something, yes? And This attitude is reflected from pretty much every politician. Because like I said, Wouter Bos, he said, oh, I don't want to do politics. The world is too complicated to do politics. I just want to make life a little better for people. I just want to make the world a little better for people in the here and now. Well, I'm not an idealist. I'm a realist. And if you ask managers, they'll say, power? We don't do power. We have a protocol. We have agreements. We have decisions. And we have a procedure. We don't do power. Ideal? Oh, well, I don't have an ideal. I don't have a utopia. I'm just doing my job. You will get all sorts of answers like that. I will assure you. If you really ask to the deeper point of it, you will get answers like these.